What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today to another episode of Kart Smart TV. Today we are going to tear down FJ400. Well, no talking, let's get at it. Sometimes everything looks good though. Connecting rod surface is good. Connecting rod looks good. It's these right here that ain't good. The rings are pretty much wore out. So I've went ahead and just put the seals for the crankshaft in the block, and in my side cover here I've put the rings on the piston. There's no difference in the way you put the rings on this piston compared to any of the other videos you see. The rings have the words up on them, so you want to have them facing up so you can see them, and the process is the same. Face the ring gaps away from each other, both on both your compression rings and your oiling rings, and then slip the crankshaft back in, and I am now ready to put my piston back in the block. And so let's get that done. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not, but this is the factory piston. There would normally be some lettering here, but it's kind of faded out on this one. So I'm going to bring you up a brand new piston. I'm not sure if you can see those numbers and this arrow right here, but that arrow is going to point towards the oil filter of the engine block when it goes back in. Now this particular motor, you might actually have to use the other hand to help guide the rod onto the crankshaft, just so it doesn't get stuck or hung. And as always, these things have these little markings on the cap and on the rod. You just be sure you get those two together. They mate up, you're ready to go. Alright, so now it's ready for getting your torque into it. Alright guys, so when you're going to torque this rod down, it's a 14.5 foot-pounds, and I think that maths out to about 175 inch-pounds. They do have a pretty wide variation from, I think it was like 12.3 foot-pounds to 14.5 foot-pounds was maximum, and I believe that's like 147, 148 minimum and 175 maximum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do probably a double torque here. I'm going to do it at about 150, and then I'll do it at 175, and that's inch pounds. I think that was 150. Okay, 175 right there. Okay. I always try to roll it by hand just to make sure that it hasn't got bound up somehow on there, because I have had the 2-cylinder Robbins bind up on me and it basically locks it to the crankshaft. Alright, so now we can move to putting our camshaft in. And so when you do that, don't forget you got to put these, they're called tappets. They're what the push rod pushes down when the cam, or pushes up rather. The cam rides on it, comes by, the lobe hits it, pushes the valve open, and then when it drops past it, it closes back down. So make sure you put those in their respective places. And then of course the timing of the Kawasaki is pretty straightforward. So you have your timing mark here, which you can see it might be a little blue mark on the camera. That's a factory mark. There's a dot on the camshaft right here. You can see where it's blued there for factory marking. So you put those two dots together. Slides right in place just like that. After you've got your camshaft and your crankshaft lined up, there's going to be a dot right there, that little bitty tiny fellow. You're going to have to match it up with the dot that is right there. Alright, so now we've got dot to dot, and then when we roll this thing back around, which I probably can't do with my bare hands because it's slick, it's just where I don't have the side cover on it. It's not white lining up like this, but regardless, we've got the timing marks where they need to be, no matter. Because when I put that in there, I noticed that the piston was on top dead center. Perfect spot. So now you can get your side cover gasket. So good quality kit will come with a set of new side cover bolts. Dial pins, put it back in. Alright, so you can see in the camshaft, it's got that elongated spot right there. Okay, well that's the oil pump for the Kawasaki, and so right here is the male, and we just need those to mate up, and this will slide right on. Hardest part is getting your gasket to stay, so if you need to, maybe put a little dab of oil on the gasket so it'll stick to the block. There you go. Done with the inside. So much easier at spinning over. At this point, you're going to get your head put back on. Got a dial pin here. Dial pin here. There we go. That's the best part about that. It's only going to mate up one way. Alright, so two of the head bolts have these particular type of washers on them. And if you see the head bolt down in here, you can see how it's got this cut out edge. Well, that particular washer there sits right on it like that right there. Do that with both sides. When you torque in the head bolts, it is 186 inch-pounds, and you want to do it in an X pattern. A couple of times, I normally do 3 consecutive passes, just making sure that my torque wrench is hitting it every time and the bolt's not moving any extra or anything like that, just to make sure that it's got the proper torque on it. And so now you can finish up getting the rest of it together. So, alright guys, so when you're ready to put your rocker arms back on your push rods, you got to make sure that they go down inside of those keepers right there. They go right through the keeper down into the tappet seat for the rocker arm. But once you get this straight, you can start putting the rocker arms back on and get it all finished up there. Alright, so now you wait until you get everything else put on the engine to adjust these valves, because you have to make sure that you're top dead center on the compression stroke, or otherwise they're not gonna adjust up properly. And to adjust them, you have a Allen head screw inside of this nut here, and so you're gonna break the Allen head loose. You'll tighten the nut down to the proper lash, and then you tighten the Allen head screw back down so that it tightens the nut properly, or the bolt, whatever you want to call that thing, the keeper. So when you put the fan back on this thing, you'll have that little, it's like a little protruding lip right there on the fan. That's got to go in the slot where your keyway would go, so that way it keeps it blocked. Don't allow it to come out. Now when you put your coil back on, you want to get you something like a business card. You're going to put this over top of your magnet. Get your coil. You'll set it right over top of that business card, just like that. Gives you a very, very, very close gap. Kind of just put a little pressure on the top side of it like this, just a little bit, nothing crazy. Then you'll rotate it to get the magnet. See how I got the magnet out the way? Once you get the magnet out the way, the business card comes right out, and you rotate it. Make sure you don't hear it hit both ways. Alright, so there's no hitting of the magnet between the coil and the flywheel magnet, so we should be good there. Definitely don't forget to plug that thing back up. Alright, so before I do anything else, definitely before I put any of the covers back on, I am going to find out where my piston is. Remember, we said we needed on top dead center on the compression stroke. Alright, I'm going to look down in this hole. I'm going to watch that piston come all the way until it starts to basically go back down. Then I'm going to come back until I see it stop at top dead. Right there. Now, once you know you're at top dead center, you can certainly see that these are completely closed, and that's what you look for, is the valves being completely closed. These should be flopping all over the place. You see I just about knocked that one all the way off. And so what we're going to do here, I'm going to get them adjusted up, get us an Allen wrench, fits it. Alright, so that's going to be a 3 mil on the Allen wrench there. Alright, so we're going to do the valve lash at this point. Should be anywhere from 4 to 6 thousandths. Fresh motor, I like to run them 4. If it's an older motor, you can certainly do 6. It will help it run a little better, but that's also a key indication of, you know, it's getting wore out. And so as you can see, I'm sitting here adjusting this nut. What you want to do is back off on this Allen wrench, the Allen wrench bolt that's inside of there. Put your 4 thousandths in here. You start turning this nut until you get friction on this filler gauge. Alright, so I got good friction there. I'm going to take my Allen wrench, tighten that all the way down. Good way to check to make sure that you don't have any binding, everything's in good spirit here, is twisting the valve push rod. As long as you got good free movement there and your rocker arm doesn't fall off, it is good to go. Do the other side. A little tight, so I'm going to back off on that nut. Alright, now I'm going to tighten back to it till got good friction there. I'll tighten that down. Double check, good there. Good there. Alright, like I said, 3 mil on the Allen head bolt in there. And so, like, similar to lawnmowers, they do have this same setup for valve adjustment. I always come back and give these just a tiniest bit of little love there, just to make sure that they are seated properly on the rocker arm, because you got a lot of movement in here and you don't want them things to back off. They shouldn't. Alright, so I'm going to get my covers, fan shroud here, cleaned up and ready to go back on it. And then we'll get our valve cover on, we'll get the rest of the covers on it, and then get it back in the golf cart. Alright guys, so there is how you rebuild the FJ400. As you can see, I don't have the valve cover on. That's just because I got to go grab the valve cover gasket and then put the 4 10mm screws in, and it'll be good to go. But I wanted to go ahead and wrap this video up for you guys. It's been a job, but it's going to be a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video on this rebuild. We thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys. Give us a comment if you see something in this video that you're curious about or that you don't understand. Please leave us a comment or give us a call. Our phone number should be linked there in the description somewhere. And as always, guys, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We thank you all so much for all the subscriptions to this point. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, God bless you all.